Hello, everybody. Hello there, Dwight, or, or or I'm half tempted to say, you know, instead of Curly Express, but Hurley Express. Tuna Head. That's a new one. Okay. Wigwag, I think, is in here also. Here's Mystic. All right. Hey there, Tuna Can Dwight Tuna Can Springs. Thank you. I guess. Uh, uh, da-da-da-da. So, well, today is going to be a sedate day. I wound up going on to last Thursday. I took a day off of work to go to my first outdoor job fair. It seems that work is upper management is in the process of looking for ways to cut down employees, and I found out the week before that I'm, you upper management has their eye on me. And I think the only thing that's keeping me there right now is that my supervisor still on light duty. So, hello, Anfield Road. Um, so I'm being a little bit proactive in looking for other work. Uh, uh, I had one of the local professionals uh, at the local employment office, take a new look at my resume, and they did a much nicer job than I would have. I'm so used to doing the lists and all this, that, and etc. And they turned around and he turned around and made it look a lot more modern, I guess. So it was it was very interesting with the outdoor job fair. It's like because it felt more like a farmer's market than a job fair. But I thank you, Mystic. Uh, it's one of those things that there is a company I want to get back into. Unfortunately, the jobs that they are looking for, I'm not qualified for. They had my old job that I had 20 years ago, open up about a month or so ago. But since I was employed, didn't really jump on it. So by the time I said went to the location and because it said they had the job but it was already filled, so went to clarify and it was already filled. So and the job that the next job up, which is a programmer, I went to college for, but I have no experience in it. So they're looking for people more experience, and I'm like, did wind up meeting one of the new owner, one of the new owner. Well, he's a new owner, but there's two owners. I've the that's one of the the original two owners. One of them retired, and this guy stepped up to become a new owner, which I guess was someone that worked in the mechanical side of it. So when I was working there, I was doing electrical, so I wasn't not really directly involved with him. But it was definitely interesting. Fun fact, Vermont Railway was looking for help. So it's one of those things of, I grabbed their information and all that. The HR person, assumed since I did electrical and electronics, I wouldn't, they're looking for people in the machine shop, but not realizing that it's like it's a diesel electric. There is an electrical portion of the locomotive that has electronics and the radios, computers and all that fun stuff that are in modern locomotives. So I'm going to throw my hat in that. Unfortunately, that would require me to move because I think the job location, I'm not quite sure where their shops are, but I know it's north of Rutland. And Rutland's an hour away north from me. So it's one of those things of, if we can use mind tricks to get good jobs. It's one of those things of my luck is very small. I can, get things like I can pick up at work. I can pick up a piece of paper and it's like, okay, I need this person with this sales order number on it. And there's been many times I can turn around, open it up, and be right there. Unfortunately, I'm not able to do that with things like lottery tickets. But there's times that it's like, I can walk, drive up to something, I'm like, gee, I need where's their close parking spot? And literally someone could be pulling out when I'm pulling in. That actually happened this Saturday when the local NMRA division met up in Voorheesville, which was a former diamond crossing between Delaware and Hudson and Conrail. So last century. I forgot when they took out the diamond, but they used the Delaware and Hudson used to come out of Albany, go up this direction, and then go to the Voorheesville Industrial Park. And the thing is that what had happened is that I want to say it might have been Hurricane Irene turned around and washed out a good portion of a good portion just before a bridge. And they made a decision that it was easier to refurbish the line that came from Delancey than to fix the part on the Albany side. So that's what they did, and they wound up from Voorhees. Then they wound up taking out the diamond in Voorheesville, and basically from Voorheesville to Albany on the Delaware Hudson line, they turned around and made that into a bicycle trail. And the first time I was on the bicycle trail, I saw a big, huge sign saying that warning, narrow bridge. And I'm just laughing because it's like, this was originally a 6-foot broad gauge line. How was it narrow? But that was that. Let's see, one thing I probably should do before it gets a little too dark is to turn on the lights. I'm using my multi-piece tool to turn on the lights, which are just out of reach. Made, and yes, it's made by Kirby because, well, I got my mother's Generation 4 Kirby that I use for vacuuming actually. But the hose extenders are like just long enough so I can actually flip the switch without crawling over everything. But it's one of those things of looking at other jobs that there was one job that I'm looking. I'm sort of kind of like, this has nothing to do with electronics, and plus it's across the border on the New York side in Cambridge. It's for machinist position where you're using all the CNC equipment. And yes, this thing weighs as much as my car, which is a Honda Fit. But it's a lot lighter than the original Kirby because I think I knew when I was younger, we had a next door neighbor that had the original Kirby. And that thing was entirely made out of very heavy metal. The one I have is there's parts that are plastic. I mean, not not just the tubing and all that, but I think the handle has some plastic on it, the wheels, another thing. Yeah, pretty much solid steel. This is not quite as solid. There are parts that are. There's still a lot of parts that are steel. I don't know what generation they're up to now. But from my understanding, Kirby still is in business. From my understanding, and you can still get parts from them. I don't think they have any storefronts anymore because there was a storefront in Albany, New York, which is no longer there. But if I remember correctly, the original Kirby also did other things. One thing that my mother did was buy a shampoo attachment, which I do have, but as far as I know, it was never used. I mean, it's the stuff is still brand new. It's out of the packaging, but it's still. I don't think my mother ever used it. And for myself, I don't know how to use it. So actually, that might be an interesting thing. See how many, after this, search for Kirby on YouTube to see how many people do Kirby things. I know my father's shopsmith. He has a 10ER that right now is at a friend's place because I have no room here. That is, a lot of the stuff when you put in shopsmith, of course, it's for the later models, but there are some that technically, if I want to say if I had an extra. If I had if I had an extra 4-foot square spot, it can be stored in the upright position. So that would I would be able to actually have it here, but I don't quite have. I don't have that. I don't have that 4 square feet. Other than that, it's like I'd be going hey, can I have my, I do have my father's 8-inch tabletop drill press, which actually, that's actually a good segue. Let's switch cameras. That is a very good segue because one of the projects I want to do with the lathe is to make a new one of these. This is I'm not sure exactly what it's called, but this is where this would go on the main tube shaft that the drill press. You got the base. The base is down here. The head of it's down here, and this holds on the table. And the problem with this is that this piece wound up breaking off. and I don't have the skill or anything to. It's cast iron. I don't have the ability to like re-weld it on or something like that. So I'm actually planning on, as a project, to make a new version of this. Get a hold of a chunk of something, and then drill a hole on the one side, and then slit it, drill and half tap a tap a hole here and all that, and then finally make a once that's done, turn around and make this portion, so we can turn around, so I can turn around and mount a table on it, and then be good from there. And then not quite sure if I actually would turn around and weld this on. In fact, I didn't even know this was on here because we never had a reason to tilt the table, so I didn't even know that there was a scale on there to say, hey, how far do you want to tilt it right, tilt it up to 45 degrees on both. And there goes the broken part. But that is something that's far in the future to keep a lookout for. I'm still trying to figure out how to incorporate the other hobbies that I do besides trains on stuff. But I will add other hobbies because this is a channel that, as I say, the tagline is that these are hobbies that make me happy, and that's multiple hobbies, not just the one. Just so far at this point in time, it has only been one, but eventually the model train adjacent ones will be showing up. All right, so back to the building here. I have made a decision on how I want to paint this. Basically, what I'm planning on doing is red for the one side, this green or flesh for this sort, sort of like have it as two separate stores, and then for the and as you can see, I already got white for the other, for the apartment staircases that go up. All right, so let's clean up the brush. All right, onto green. Now, I know I have to need to get more other colors and all that I got to restock on, and actually drove by the game shop that I bought these from, and kept on forgetting to stop in and say, hey, I need this. Also, I need to find out if they've actually got if they actually have a real white now. This is a very, 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 very light gray. That's what that is. It's not the normally what I would consider white. So as you can see, that is definitely a shade of gray. All right. pop that open. So it looks like everyone has said their hellos. So I'm going to have to go back over on that one part there for the white. I'm also thinking that since these are two different stores, maybe paint them slightly differently. It seems that this plastic is not as sticky when it comes to the paint. My idea on this one is to, one store owner sort of like decides to be more fancier than the other. On their painting of their storefront. I'm thinking, for the green one, they just, painted everything green. On the red side, they a little bit fancier. Like painting between the details and etc. Not sure how I'm going to be able to do that, but that's what the plan is. Because I had usually when I've seen this style of building, a lot of times it's just painted as one color. Very rarely do you see someone actually go in and do all the little details. So that is my thought on that. Of course, it's also this paint is not really, seems to be not really on top of, or it's bubbling up, or not bubbling up, but seems to be not really sticking to the plastic. Another thing I'm thinking on doing to make it more just more prototypical. I know in the Northeast, a lot of storefronts and all that used to have awnings across the front. So that's another thing I'm thinking on adding to is awnings. Now on individual buildings, that's easy because you just go across the entire front. But this one, since this has two different storefronts, it's going to be a little bit going to have a little bit of a challenge of trying to figure out how that would work. Because, I mean, it would make, it would, I mean, normally they would make sense where, covering an awning going across both, but since these are two separate storefronts, then they would only have technically an awning only over one or the other. So that's going to be trying to figure that one out. It's going to be interesting, especially since awnings are not universal. Technically, I can even have two separate, not only the paint separate, but also the use of awnings are different. I need to come in here with more paint anyway, so like right up in here, so take care of that later. And the same thing on this side. Need to get a little bit more defined there. But yeah, the idea on this one is that one is more, all right, we'll just paint it for the sake of having it painted, and the other one be more a store of, ooh, here you want to look in here. So there'd be more flashier. Not quite sure which would be flashier. So I'm thinking maybe that might be an idea. Make this as a music store, and the other one be more maybe a clothing store. Something that's not as flashy. Whereas a music store would be more, or even an art supply. Actually, an art supply store probably would also make a art paint store, something that they would have a reason to actually turn around and make the storefront flashy with extra paint and all that. Art gallery. Yeah. Well, it's one of those things of make that determination when adding signs. So one thing I probably should do is move the building in all over the place, because you might wind up realizing that you didn't paint things, which probably won't be seen at different angles. That's what I probably should have done when I was doing the white or the marble. Flipping upside down to see all the places that I've grabbed or not. And since this paint is also not really sticking too well to the plastic, this might be another reason to flip it over and this is going to be a little hard because I wanted to paint the column, but not the doorway. All right, that works. I'll come back in with a little bit more other color. All right, let's do this one right here. All right. Looks like we almost got a solid green all over the place. All right. And I think this might require a second coat over some of this. So we'll let that portion dry. And put that in there. Now to grab a second brush, since this is going to be a little bit more detailed oriented. We'll grab nicer looking brushes. So close the green. Why, thank you. That's listening while working on the freight yard, and then you knock over 4 tank cars. Well, hopefully they were empty, or at least not hazardous materials. But, all right, now on to the more fanciful side. Might start off with a base red color, and then trying to think now. Yeah, contrasting yellow for the quote details or raised details. And this one seems to be a thicker paint. Oh, this sticks so much better to this plastic. Yeah, interestingly is one of the companies that was hiring was a paint company that paints houses and stuff like that. And I could probably get away with the interior stuff. The exterior, probably not as much. All right, gonna have to repaint this door again. Yeah, this is much thicker and stickier paint. So thing is, I do believe I do have let's see, this is 3/0. That's, I almost want to say like a 4-inch brush in HO scale, but I do have even smaller ones somewhere. This is a 25/0 poly S, so that, you know, that's Floquil for you. But that's see, close to maybe a 2-inch brush in HO scale. That's for the, I might use that for the detail painting afterwards. Not quite as, I don't think it's quite as dramatic as John's diorama making. But, tonight, Sidetracks Sunday apparently is going to be Mr. Rick Bailey at the False Bailey Railroad. Probably wouldn't be looking too much into it because I probably should be answering all the employers. Send them an email tomorrow. Didn't do it on Friday because let the ones desperate, that need work, go through the grinder first, and then well, I might need a job, but I'm not really desperate at this point. Since I haven't been fired yet, as I said, this is more preemptive, and I did let people know that we're there, that it's like, I'm not desperate for work. But let them know it's like, they're being more proactive. And basically, also the reason why I'm still there, why I'm still I'm not really leaving yet, because my supervisor hasn't fully recovered yet. And actually, armed with that knowledge, there's a possibility he might, get the, hey, or you got a full bill of health to go on to normal duties, but might keep it quiet because, well, he'll, apparently he does like me, so. because I mean, he didn't really. It wasn't until something came along that he let me know what was going on. He is very loyal to the company, but also at the same time, he is a very loyal person, which a lot of times is good, and there's times that it's not as good. This red is going in so much better than the green is. Not sure why that is, but that is the way it is. I think that we can get away with the red. I think we can get away with a single coat. Yeah, I guess I can. I almost want to say I can get away with a single coat with the red. Ah, the same thing with the green. Yep. Yep. The interesting thing is that in real life, mistakes are made. Plus, this is going to be, even though it's going to be in the front, uh, the street cars would be the more, the what's going to be in uh, seen the most and all that. So I would hopefully not most of the people who look at this, there'll be more more watching the trains than the watching the trains more than looking at the buildings. They might look at the buildings, but they won't be able to go that close. I'm not sure. Oh, hello there, Split Rock. Thank you for coming in. It was not the disaster of NS proportions. Well, that's good. Yeah, pretty much apply everywhere. Well, not everywhere. It's one of those things of I know my strengths and I know my weaknesses. It'd be very silly for me to apply for. Hello there, Randall and Ray Ron. Thank you for coming in. I mean, it's like there's places. There's a lot of places for nursing homes and all that, and it's like I have no clue on how to help in that regards. Ooh, that reminds me. Let's see. Can I? Just looking at something, I just sort of kind of reminded myself. All right. Here's an experiment I want to try. While we're waiting for that paint to dry, let's play with a different paint. Yeah, basically, fortune does favor the ones that go out there. But at the same time, it's like going for something that you're not completely able to do. I mean, I admit right now I'm doing shipping and receiving, which is the first job I've done that. However, second job, I did work at a place where after fixing and testing railroad wheel gauges. After that, it was like, okay, everything's good and all that. Now, my job was to turn around and said, hey, it needs to go to its customer. And with the thing is, with the merger of Kansas City and Canadian Pacific, I think that winds up getting rid of one customer, because I don't know if they actually did Canadian Pacific. I don't actually remember Canadian Pacific. All right. So it's this one. All right. Got this at the local dollar store. And apparently this is chalkboard craft paint. Now, I've seen it in black and green and all that. This is the first time I saw it in blue. And the idea for this experiment, I got these small little also from the dollar store, very small things of where you can turn around and do very small scenes using basically the very using the smaller things that I was just using, this size, to do your masterpiece on. But my thought is, if this is something that you can actually use chalk on, I'm thinking it's like you paint the whole entire thing this color, and if you can use chalk on this, use white chalk to make clouds, and then possibly every time you do something, turn around and clean off clouds and then make new ones. That's the theory. So it's one of those things of, all right, it looks like this has a, yep, it's got a seal on it. Take off the seal. And I bought chalk. The question is, where did I put it? Now, I'm going to let this thing completely dry anyway, so. So, we'll squirt there. Let's see. I think I might have put way too much on this. Yeah, I put way too much on this. So let's go around the corners. Normally you wouldn't go around corners, but since I got so much paint on this, we'll go around corners. Okay. Yeah, I got way too much paint on this. So go over here. And we'll see about taking some of this paint off. All right, take care of that. Let's see. All right. Sorry for hitting the camera. I'm actually hitting the wire for I'm hitting the wire for the camera. And the camera is on a very janky and precarious spot. All right. That's that. And I just happened to realize that how am I going to hold this? Because right now I can't really lay this down. I did not think this through. Okay. What do we got? Got all these tools. I can find a way around this. Yeah. That was graceful. All right. All right. That is that. Put that there. So next week we'll find out if this makes a chalkboard surface. And we can go that way. So that's one experiment. I forgot, Randall, what rail company do you work for? I think I remember you saying that once before and all that now, but I have completely forgotten. All right. Okay, this looks dry. Of course, looks can be deceiving. All right. As I said, I'm going to aim for yellow. Now, I'm not going to go nuts with the detailing because it's one of those things of the average person might not see this. But basically making it definitely stand out. this yellow. All right, let's go with the really small brush. Again, sorry for hitting the camera, or not the camera. It's more I'm hitting the wire, which is causing the bounciness. Ooh, lane track. All right. That's another thing I had to do with the diorama is relay the track on that. All right, now for the really small stuff. Yeah. This one, let's see. Let's try it this way. All right. My thought process on this. Yeah, the green's going to need another color. Let's see. Put this. Into said grooves. Sort of flooded in there. Just realized something. That apparently these right here go around the door, but not necessarily through here. It's one of those things of sometimes when you're painting, going like, oh, wait a minute. This is not the way things go. But right now, sort of a little bit too late. Now these Citadel paints are oh, okay. Did not realize that. Apparently they're made in the UK. But they're also, from my understanding, are acrylics. So the normal thinners that you would use for what you would use for your normal I grew up using like flow quill and stuff like that. So right now I live in a place that normally does not make it conducive for paint or conducive for oil paints. So that's what I'm doing with this. Now, some of this I'm going a little heavy on because the idea, if it works, actually, is to come back over and dab the paint away. Or hopefully the top anyway, not necessarily getting into the grooves. That's not working out as planned. I mean, taking off some of the red paint. That didn't go as smoothly as planned. Because the paint is relatively still wet. So let's go in. Ooh, that actually has to go that way. All right. Let's see, what time do we have? Ooh! I should set an alarm or something because it is almost time for the False Belly Rarer to go online. So I'll stop here. Alright. Alcohol on a Q-tip. The acrylic paint comes right off. Alright. Well, right now I don't have any alcohol. So, or Q-tips. So I'm sort of screwed on both parts. Alright. And, but that's sort of good to know. Track laid and weighed. Well, that was pretty quick. I'm assuming it was a sighting or something like that because I'm not that quick. Of course, I just happen to realize that I've been hand laying track. So if you're using flex track and all that, it probably goes a lot faster. But yeah, it's 10 minutes out for False Belly Rarer to go online. So I'll White chocolate, stage name for the Chippendales. Okay, that was way too much information that we needed to go. But all right, well, in that case, then that's it for this evening. Maybe I might see you over at the False Belly Railroad at 8 o'clock. Maybe not. As I said, I'm sort of like probably should be a little bit more focused on next time that 70%. All right. What about denatured alcohol? That I do have. I'm not quite sure if that's a little over aggressive, but I do have a 3D printer, and I was using when you're supposed to be using IPA, but IPA for a while was not being was in short supply. However, denatured alcohol was available, and I guess it's called denatured alcohol because apparently there is something thrown in there to make it poisonous, so people wouldn't be drinking it. So it's like, oh, that's great. But yeah, it's like IPA is back being in stock now. But I still have a good 3/4 of a gallon of denatured alcohol. But the thing is that maybe it might be an experiment, but it requires, getting Q-tips. So I guess I'll look into getting Q-tips and all that, and then experiment it on off camera. And then we can go from there. I'll keep everyone updated on the job search, mainly because not many people that I know in real life know that I have a YouTube channel. So I wanted to sort of like let it all know. Well, thank you, Mystic. I'll do my best. Thank you for letting me know I'm doing something good. I know I've had Anthony, the train outsider, Anthony Dodge, him, and also Dan Cohen from Dan's Model Railroad Journey. They have let me know that I'm doing good on the recordings because they can't get here live. So it's good to know that I'm doing decent, both live and recorded. I was going to say dead, but that's not quite sure if that would be correct or not. But I do know that the world needs more love. So find your passion. Add some silliness to it, and then spread it around. Bye, people.